So with that, my name is Lindo Similani. I work with the marketing team at SurveyCTO, and it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this interesting conversation that we'll be having today with the team from CEGIS, which is the Center for the Effective Governance of Indian States. And we collaborated with them for this webinar. And through them, we are able to have two great speakers from the government of Telangana today to talk to us about some of their work in agriculture. So very, very excited for this presentation, and thank you all for making the time to join us. I should just mention that we will be recording this session, and the recording will be shared with everybody at the end. So in just a few days, you will receive an email from us with the recording of this session. So not to worry if you miss anything. We will be able to send you the recording afterwards. To get us started, I'm just going to walk everybody through the Zoom platform really quickly, just so that we're all comfortable with it for the session today. So you can see down there's going to be a polls button that you'll be able to use. We will be launching a poll in just a few minutes. This is just us trying to get your thoughts about some of the topics we'll be discussing today. So we ask that you please engage with us, respond to that poll when we launch it, because we definitely are looking forward to hearing from you. As some of you have already done, we have the chat, which we ask that you use if you want to engage with other attendees. For any questions that you have specifically for our presenters, please reserve those for the Q&A. So the Q&A will help us track questions and respond to them much easier. And so please ensure that you use the Q&A for any specific questions you'd like to have answered by our presenters. But for everything else, any of your comments, any of your greetings, the chat is the perfect place to do that. And so with that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Mafia, who is going to be moderating the session today, to take it from there.
Hi everyone. Welcome to this event in our presentation series. As Lindo mentioned, we have a great team that's part of the government of Telangana in collaboration with CEGIS that will be sharing about some of the lessons that they've learned from an ongoing agriculture monitoring project with the planning department in the state of Telangana. Now, as we stated earlier, before we get into the thrust of the webinar, I'm just going to launch our poll. Okay, so our poll is now live, and so you should be able to respond to that using the controls that Lindo mentioned earlier. It'll be going on as the presentation goes on, and at the end of the presentation, we'll close that. All right, now let's go on and welcome our guest presenters, Aparna and Preeti. So briefly, I'll say a little bit about each one of them, and then I'll hand over to them. So Aparna is an assistant statistical officer who has been working with the Directorate of Economics and Statistics in the government of Telangana for 3 years, where she has played a key role in the introduction of SurveyCTO in improving accuracy of their area enumeration. She's also familiar with Stata, SPSS, QGIS, and SQL. She holds the Master's in Statistics from Osmania University and a bachelor's degree in statistics from Siddharth Degree College. Outside of work, she enjoys long rides, traveling, and fine arts. So that's our first presenter. Our second presenter is Preeti Patil, who has been working as an assistant statistical officer, also with the Directorate of Economics and Statistics in the government of Telangana since 2019, where she has also played a key role in the introduction of SurveyCTO in improving accuracy of area enumeration. She's also familiar with Stata and QGIS. Prior to joining the Department of Economics and Statistics, she worked as a lecturer in various degree colleges for about 4 years. She completed her master's degree in statistics from Osmania University and her bachelor's degree in statistics from Aura Degree College. Beyond work, she loves listening to music and dancing. So those are our two exciting presenters we have. So welcome, Aparna and Preeti. I will hand over to you for the presentation. I think we'll start off with Preeti, and then Aparna will pick up. So over to you.
Thanks, Lindo. I'll just present my screen. I welcome you all to today's webinar on how the Directorate of Economics and Statistics in Telangana used SurveyCTO to improve the accuracy of crop area measurement. The webinar is divided into 3 sections, where the first section we will introduce the context. In the second section, we will go through the key features of the SurveyCTO, and in last section we will cover the monitoring workflow. Hope you will enjoy the session. Let's begin with the introduction. Yeah, we are from Telangana, which is India's youngest state, located in the southern India. And a majority of the population in Telangana state rely on the agriculture as their livelihood. The state government has an apex statistical body called Directorate of Economics and Statistics, which is a nodal agency for all the statistical activities, right from collection, compilation, interpretation of data in the state. It works with different line departments to meet the state government needs on statistics. Some of the core functions include crop area survey, rainfall statistics, price statistics, annual survey of industries, and so on. Here, we will be focusing on the crop area survey, which happens twice a season, 4 times a year. So, crop area survey is a core exercise of the Directorate of Economics and Statistics, estimating the crop zone area for major crops like paddy, red gram, maize, etc. The activity is taken up in the selected subdivisions, which are nothing but land parcels owned by the farmers in the state. Subdivision refers to the parcel of land. It is the smallest unit used to measure land, and typically it is around 100 square meters of area. So there are 2 seasons in a year which make up a one agriculture year. The first season starts from June to October, and the second season is from November to March. The crop area happens twice in both the season. Like in one season, it happens twice. So agriculture census per season is conducted by Agriculture Extension Officer from the Agriculture Department. So in Telangana state, there is an Agriculture Department which conducts total agriculture census. But our Directorate of Economics and Statistics do these sample checks on that. In that, about 500 officials do sample checks on the census conducted by Agriculture Department, and the figures are reconciled by a committee consisting of members from different line departments. Once the figures are reconciled, those figures will go into the calculation of gross state domestic product or any public procurement related decision or in the so as the process of this is in this process, the data is collected in the paper-based format, where the MPSOs are where the farmers are asked about the name of the crop, area of the crop, irrigation status, seed name, variety, etc. So this methodology is a paper-based methodology. In this methodology, there are certain limitations we observed while doing the diagnostic. To begin with, the reliability and the accuracy of data may not be assured in the paper-based instrument. For example, farmer may tend to report the whole subdivision area as a crop area by considering the uncultivated area such as bunds, wells, etc. So they may overestimate the area. Secondly, the use of the paper instrument may lack real-time and logical checks, which may lead to the data gaps. For example, the phone number should be of 10 digits in India, but if the enumerator enters 8 or 9 digits and submits the form, then on real time it is not possible to correct that errors. Apart from this, the paper-based instrument does not have a provision for amalgamation. We will be explaining amalgamation in detail in coming slide, but in short, amalgamation means combining 2 or more subdivisions to form a single subdivision. This is done when the boundaries of the single subdivision cannot be identified. If the boundaries of the single subdivisions are identified, then this amalgamation is not required. Additionally, the limited supervision means the data quality may suffer due to lack of monitoring checks. So these are the gaps which have been identified in the paper-based instrument. To address these gaps, digital solution with embedded data checks like capturing GPS coordinates, error prompts, availability to use app offline, user ID device tracking were desired. Apart from this, the easy customization like real-time edits to the questionnaire, backend calculation, logic-based loops, export data in the tidy format, ability to use plugin in dashboard, etc. was sought. After doing some research, SurveyCTO has been chosen over all other available tools because of its ability to create complex questionnaire designs, modify the instrument in the flexible manner, ability to embed data checks, and monitor the data in the real time. So let's see what are the key features of SurveyCTO which address the challenges with paper instrument. So in this section too, we will be covering the key features. So some of the key features which was addressed by the as per the department requirement are use of pre-filled CSVs, plugins and images, navigation, flexibility and offline use, usage of validation, amalgamation, GPS coordinates, geotrace, and data security. So these are the key features highlighted here. So we will be discussing these features in the coming slide. Unlike the paper instrument, SurveyCTO enabled us to pre-populate the form with the sample data, such as subdivision name, owner name, father name, etc., which otherwise was filled manually by the enumerators. This consumes a lot of time on the field during the survey. The pre-populated feature in SurveyCTO also helped enumerator to confirm that they have visited the correct subdivision and also prevented duplicate submission. In the image, we can see that the pre-populated data is shown here where subdivision name, owner name, and area, village, everything is pre-populated. Apart from this, the search plugin helped the enumerator in finding the names and crop names among 100 other names easily. Because as there is around 33,000 subdivisions, 500 officials, to select the correct enumerator in 500 is not possible. In this search plugin, it is easy for us to give the district-wise names. Like we have broken down the on district-wise on an average, so that each enumerator will get around 20 to 25 names for searching. So they can select one out of that. Also, additional images to the app helped them in understanding the options clearly, which may not be possible in the paper instrument. For example, here we can see there are we have based two images like what is intercropping and what is mixed cropping. By seeing the images, they can easily understand which option to choose for that field. Another feature that made enumerator survey easy was navigation. Since the subdivisions are small land parcel, like area of around 100 square feet on an average, which is very difficult to identify. So navigation feature helped enumerator to reach the correct subdivision. We enabled both offline and online mode of navigation. However, maps were not available for all subdivisions, so this feature could not be applied to each subdivision, but wherever the coordinates were there with us, we have used to put that coordinates in the app, and we have used the navigation feature. So as we see in this video, if the enumerator has the internet connection, he will select yes, and then he will click on the link so that he can see on the Google map, he can see the navigation. And if there is no internet connection, they can select no. They can copy paste the coordinates from the next slide. So here we can see how the coordinates can be copied. And these coordinates can be pasted in the Google map. and then we can see the direction. So this is offline availability feature. Apart from this, we also have maintaining the data quality constraint and skip pattern relevance, which were programmed on SurveyCTO app to prevent the entry of the invalid responses. For example, a common problem observed in the paper instrument was that the cultivation area exceeds the area of the subdivision. This was prevented using this constraint in the app. Suppose the cultivated area exceeds the area of subdivision, the warning message will pop up showing that your area exceeds, so please re-enter the area. From this, the complex constraint have been coded in the app to get the desired output. Simply displaying the warning message that total area exceeds the subdivision area means we need to have different crops at all those areas so that desired output has been arrived. So this is a complex task and we have used that in our SurveyCTO. In the image 1, we can see the warning message was displayed while the enumerator cannot proceed further. So if the GPS is low, very low, the accuracy of GPS is very low, then the enumerator cannot move further. He has to take the accurate GPS and then only he can move. So this is a warning message displayed here. And in video, we can also see how we have utilized the skip pattern. Like, you can see based on the option selected, the questions will appear. So if first option is selected, based on first option, the different questions will appear. If option 2 is selected, based on that option, the subsequent questions will appear. So this will help us to make the app smaller, where they don't need to scroll down to the other questions. So only restricted questions will be displayed on screen. SurveyCTO provides flexibility in updating the questionnaire midway also. For instance, enumerators find more crops beyond the given list. Example, if there are 10 lists, and enumerators is adding one more, enumerator wants one more option in its list, that is 11th crop, then we can add it into the SurveyCTO app during the survey also. That is one feature. Apart from that, if the monitoring list also, like if the enumerator wants to add more number of people, then also we can add that. Depending on the needs of the department and enumerator's experience, we can do the changes to the survey during the survey also. So you can also see the image where the changes made are recorded with date and other details, which help in tracking the ongoing survey changes. So here the ongoing survey changes are made. In addition, the flexibility to make changes to the instrument per season is also possible. For example, we have 2 times in one season. So from first time to second time, if we want to change the questionnaire or if we want to add something, we can do that with the minimal effort in the app to compared to the customized developed application. So this feature is very, very helpful while making the app. Also, flexibility for a user to choose the form in English and local language. So here we have added the Telugu language, as here the local language is Telugu. So we have added that language so that the enumerators can use that language and do the survey as it is. So it is for their better understanding. We have that flexibility was given. While in paper instrument, we can see there is only one language, that is English will be written. Apart from this, since the survey is conducted on the agriculture field in rural areas, due to their high chance of facing connectivity issues, it becomes important to have an app that provides without the internet, and SurveyCTO helped to address this issue by providing an offline survey feature, where the complete survey is saved on the field in an offline mode and sent to the server whenever there is good connectivity. That means on field they can do the survey completely and then they can come back, and whenever there is a good internet connection, they can send to the server. So that flexibility is also given by SurveyCTO. And the next slides will be continued by Aparna.
So in this slide, we'll be discussing about the amalgamation. So as already discussed, amalgamation is nothing but combining 2 or more subdivisions into a single unit and collecting data for that combined unit. So this was not possible in the paper instrument. This picture depicts how the amalgamation is conducted on the ground. But let's see the video to see how it actually works on the app. So if the enumerator is able to identify the boundaries of the subdivision, then they'll select yes for this question and they'll proceed the survey as usual. But if they are unable to identify the boundaries, then they select no for this question. And in the next question, they'll choose the parent survey number. Then in this question, they'll select the all neighboring survey numbers which they want to amalgamate. As you can see, there are list of neighboring survey numbers. So we have used pre-filled CSVs to pull all these neighboring survey numbers. Though our survey was of 33,000 subdivisions, but there were some 100,000 of neighboring survey numbers were available for amalgamation. So we have uploaded that list to the SurveyCTO as an attachment. And as you can see, we have provided farmer name and area of that particular subdivision. So this helped the enumerator in identifying those neighboring subdivisions also. So here, as you can see, there is a warning message. So if the enumerator select original survey number, then it will show the warning. Once they select the surveys which they want, subdivisions which they want to amalgamate, they need to give a new name to this combined unit. Here we are naming it as mango tree. And from here onwards, all other questions will use this mango tree as the subdivision name instead of the one which was there earlier, that is 94/1/something. So this is how amalgamation was used in our app. Also, we have monitoring checks to see that same subdivision is not amalgamated more than once. And we have discussed earlier that survey subdivisions are very small in size and it is often difficult to identify them. So this feature actually helped us in preventing the data loss due to misidentification. And in our survey, we are capturing GPS points also, and we are capturing it at multiple times, that is for every crop in the survey. And these GPS points are actually helpful in addressing the supervision challenges. And also these were used in the subsequent surveys for enabling the navigation feature also. So let us see how this is actually used in the app. So in the app, the enumerator has to click on view or change location button. Then they need to select zoom to current location. After that, the location is shown as dead pointer. And by clicking on the save icon, the GPS coordinates are saved. But in some cases, it would be difficult for the enumerator to reach the mid of the survey, subdivision. So in such cases, they'll stand at the edge of the field and they move the red pointer to the center of the field, and thus they capture GPS coordinates. This is about the geotrace. So this is very important feature in our survey. And it is an extraordinary feature by SurveyCTO, which we have customized according to our needs. That is to capture alternate area for the crop, randomly selected crop in a survey. So let us see how this works using the video. So once enumerator clicks on Start Geotrace button, they'll start moving around the perimeter of the crop, and the GPS is captured for every 10 seconds, and they'll walk around the field till a proper polygon is formed. As you can see here, polygon is formed, and they'll save this polygon by clicking on the Save Polygon button. So this is how the geotrace was done on the field. However, enumerators faced many difficulties due to walking on wet and uneven fields. So only 30% of our surveys had successful geotraces. By successful geotrace, we mean the geotrace which is complete and has valid polygon. And also this geotrace helped us in calculating alternate area as said earlier, unlike the farmer reported area, which is mostly like the subdivision area. So these images are just the process which we have seen in the video. So while working with government data, it is important to use the security and the data protection measures because they mostly work with the personal identifiable information. In our survey, those were names, phone numbers, and land records of the owners of approximately 33,000 subdivisions. So it was important for us to use these measures. And SurveyCTO allowed us for secure storage and protection with the help of pair of keys, that is public and private key. So, for example, in our survey, per set of variables, we used S under the publishable column of SurveyCTO instrument, and thus we allowed those variables access to everyone. while the PII variables are protected by keeping that column blank so that only person with a private key can access those variables. This is how we have ensured the security of the data. So till now, we have discussed about the features of the SurveyCTO, which we have used in our survey for real-time data and all. So in the next slides, let's discuss about the monitoring features and the data quality checks, which we have enabled. So once the survey starts, real-time data is linked to the Google Sheet or it is downloaded as DTA files. And using that, we do all this monitoring and the data quality checks. So some of the data quality checks are survey time-based checks, sensor stat audits, summary statistics, audio and photo audits. So let us see some of these features in detail in the coming slides. So this is about the dashboard. So we have imported all non-PII variables from the SurveyCTO instrument server to the Google link. And using that Google Sheet, we have customized the dashboard such that officials at different levels can track their progress and also identify the laggards. So for example, if you can see this home page, this is used by the state level officials to see how what is the target for the state and what is the completion rate for the state. Similarly, district tab is used by the district officials to track their district's progress. And enumerator level progress is tracked by using the daily enumerator view. We also used conditional formatting to call out the outliers. And as we discussed, we are collecting some media also like audio, photos, and geotrace, etc. So we are doing monitoring check for those also. So let's see what are those. So first one is the audio audits. We are conducting these audio audits to understand whether the enumerator was following the correct survey protocols or not. So as you can see in the table, each UID is attached with a link, audio link, using which the auditors will listen to the audio, and based on that, they'll comment their observations in the subsequent columns. And the other one is photo audits. So we'll use photo audits to verify whether the crop photo matches with the crop name entered by the enumerator or not. So if there is any mismatch, then the auditor will reach out to the enumerator and they'll get the reasons for that mismatch. So the interesting task here is we have created this pre-populated monitoring sheet with all the photos and related UIDs, data labels by using the Python code. As we said, we are collecting these geotraces also. So we are doing geotrace audits also. So before calculating the area using geotrace coordinates, we are exporting it as CSV files and we are overlaying it on the cadastral maps using the QGIS app. And then we are verifying whether the shape of the geotrace is correct or not, and also checking whether it falls under correct subdivision or not. So as you can see in the image, this shows one successful geotrace by an enumerator. So this is successful as it has valid polygon. So other audit is GPS audit. We are doing this GPS audit using the QGIS app only. Like here also we are checking whether this UPS falls on the correct subdivision or not. So while SurveyCTO helped us with many features, in this slide we would like to highlight few features which we desired. So the first one is when multiple users were logging in at the same time, it used to a warning message used to pop up repeatedly, and sometimes it make the users to log off. So allowing for the bulk creation of individual credentials would have been helpful here. And the other one is when we were creating the dashboards and all, we linked the data from SurveyCTO server to the Google Sheet. So while doing that, we need to map each and every variable in the field mapping section, and this is very time consuming. So the bulk approach would be helpful here also, like uploading an Excel file with the desired variable list or auto-populating this list by using the publishable column of the SurveyCTO would have been helpful. So till now, on average, we have conducted 33,000 surveys per season since 2021, and overall 4 rounds have been completed. We have trained 550 officials in using the SurveyCTO app, and 5 members were trained in designing the instrument also, and a dedicated monitoring team was set up to track the progress of the survey. So using the SurveyCTO instrument, we have demonstrated improved crop area data quality also. So this is the progress till now. And as we were discussing in the earlier side, we are doing manual monitoring and audits of media files like GBS, years, shape, etc. for approximately 33,000 surveys each season. And this is burdensome. And it is relaying the data analysis process also. So DS is exploring alternate solutions for this. Also, the scope for integration with other departments like agriculture and inter-department analysis for crop area is also under evaluation. So as we said multiple times that we are conducting the survey for 33,000 subdivisions twice a year and 4 rounds. So such a massive task wouldn't have been possible without the guidance and support of our special chief secretary, sir, director, sir, joint director, sir, assistant directors, chief planning officer, divisional deputy officers, and many other officials at the DES. Also, we would like to thank our fellow MPSOs who were conducting this survey for the last 2 years. And lastly, we would like to thank SurveyCTO team also for their timely response to many of our queries. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That was very, very interesting and insightful. Thank you, Aparna and Preeti. It was really interesting to hear about the work that you're doing and the processes that you're following. As Lindo mentioned earlier, we do have a Q&A section. So if you have any question for Preeti and Aparna, they're also joined by Shravan and Ganesh from CEGIS. They'll also be able to answer any questions. So please feel free to put any questions that you have in the Q&A. So before we get to the Q&A, I just want to close our poll and then share the results that we have. So I'll just do that now. Great. Okay. So yeah, we got quite a number of responses. We had a total of 77 responses. That's great. Thank you so much for engaging with us. And out of those, we can see that quite a number of people are still doing a combination of paper and digital data collection. We had about 51%, but it's good to see that quite a number have already moved and everything is digital. About 44% said almost everything that they have is digital. And a good number of us are engaging with government partners at some level. About 77% of the responses said yes to that particular question. And an overwhelming number actually are in agriculture and doing similar work to what the team in India have been doing. About 80% or so said that they are collecting agricultural data. And I mean, based on some of these responses, it would be good to just hear from the team. I'll just ask just 2 questions, and then we can jump into the other questions that are coming in through the Q&A. Please keep those questions coming. Do you guys have any tips for those that are making the move from paper-based surveys to digital collection? So in your experience, what have you found to be most helpful in the planning process for such a transition? Any of you can pick up that one. Aparna, Preeti, Shravan, Ganesh, any of you can pick up that. Do you have any tips for those that are moving from paper-based surveys to digital data collection? Feel free to jump in and just share your experience and what you found most helpful in the planning process for that transition.
No, should we answer directly or should we type it?
No, please feel free to answer directly. We'll get to the Q&A questions later. We just had to have a brief discussion based on some of the things that you presented. So these ones you can just answer directly. We'll get to the Q&A questions, and even those Q&A questions, you'll be free to answer directly. I'll be reading those out for you.
Okay, so the question for how much is the accuracy level of GPS is that we are considering the accuracy as less than 10 meters in our survey. So, and it's like we want the accuracy should be less than 10 meters. And the other question is the accuracy of GPS trace. We didn't understand this question, tracer.
Okay, it looks like you are jumping into the Q&A already. We'll get to those shortly. I just wanted us to have a brief discussion for the sake of the different participants. So the question I was asking about the move from paper-based surveys to digital collection. I wanted you to just give, based on your experience, what are some of the things that you found helpful in planning the process for that particular transition? Maybe you can just share some insights on that, and then we'll get to the questions in the Q&A.
Okay, sure. So, like our experience is the first part, what we did is the diagnostic. So, the thorough understanding of how the questions were taken and how we need to convert that into the app, that was a trickiest job for us. So, the diagnostic was done, the field visits were done, and we have checked what are the required parameters that should be considered in the app. So, from there, there are different steps, like it was around 5 to 6 steps. Like diagnostic is then the first questionnaire has been taken, and that was given to the heads also to check how that can be worked on the ground. So few field visits have been done, and then one season we have done a pilot with only 4 districts as the main thing, and in that 4 districts we have taken per farmer, and if the farmer has land of 10 acres or 5 acres, whatever it may be, we have covered all those things. Like per district, 10 to 15 farmers we have covered, and then we have seen the result of that from pilot. So once we got the result from the pilot, then we have moved to the scale up. Like the difference from the paper and the SurveyCTO based, we understood that difference from the delta we understood from the pilot. So then we moved to the scale up.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you. Maybe just a quick comment in terms of this kind of high volume data. I think we're talking about 33,000 plus within a fairly short period of time. Are there other areas of high volume data collection within the work of the planning department or other departments where you see opportunities like this being applied, tools like SurveyCTO being applied to those areas? Maybe a comment from any of you, and then we'll get into the next section.
Yeah, so this has become a base for us in this department, because since it is a sample, so we were able to do it like 30,000 per season. But in agriculture, it is census, so they have to do the per subdivision. This SurveyCTO from here has taken into the other departments like nutrition, so they are also using this, and agriculture department is trying to collect. So till now they didn't launch, but they are thinking to work with this app.
Okay, wonderful. That's really helpful. I can see that we at least have a few more questions. Again, if you have any question, please feel free to post those in the Q&A. But before we get into those, I just want to emphasize a couple of things. First of all, just to say that if you have any SurveyCTO related questions, okay, that might not be related to the webinar today, you can contact our customer support team. We might not be able to get to those questions right here, but our customer success team is more than happy to help you with those. If you don't have a SurveyCTO account, you're not a SurveyCTO user, but you're interested in exploring the platform, feel free to connect with Maria from our sales team. She will be able to answer any of your questions, concerns. You can at the email address that we have reflected there. But also, if you wanted to just know a bit more about SurveyCTO, we have various fora, and you can go to support.surveycto.com and you get your information there. You can also follow us on our social media platforms and engage with us there. We'll be able to answer any questions that you have.